Hi, and welcome to the Home Video Emporium. I'm your host, my name is Brendan, and with this series what I hope to accomplish is to catalog my entire collection of home video titles and determine which of these movies still belongs amongst my elite and esteemed collection. It needs to be preserved for generations to come, and which of these movies, unfortunately, may need to be purged and to make way for future titles as my shelves are rapidly running out of room, and there's still plenty of movies that I would like to add to my collection. Today's episode, we are discussing 1986's Aliens, not to be confused with Alien, singular. This film is written and directed by Mr. James Camron, stars Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, Paul Reiser, Jeanette Goldstein, Bill Paxton, and Lance Hendricks. Very great cast. This is the Fox Collector's Edition I have here. It's a beautiful package, a dual disc DVD. You get some great artwork. You got Ripley and the loader there. So, Aliens, as well as Alien, I saw them probably the first time in the late 90s. Would have been on VHS at my local video store, which would have been Metro Electronics. Unfortunately, is long gone. And then sometime in the early 2000s, I saw them both again when they came out on the special edition DVDs like I'm holding here. And then eventually would pick up both, if my memory is correct, I believe I picked these both up together at the Virgin Mega Store in Times Square. That's how I remember it. Memory may be a little fuzzy in my old age, but that's how I remember it. And before we talk about the movie, I do want to talk about the special features. I think this is some of the best produced special features of any DVD that I have, and certainly probably the best that I've reviewed so far on the series. It's probably well over 2 hours, maybe closer to 3 hours of the entire filmmaking process, from pre-production up until post-production, up until the initial screenings. There's a lot of on-set footage, there's interviews with people on the set when they were making it, and there's a lot of retrospective stuff. And the great thing about the retrospective interviews on this is no one is really pulling their punches and not promoting it. They have no issues explaining the difficulties they had in making the picture. Aliens was filmed just as the same as Alien at Pinewood Studios in England, where a bunch of James Bond movies were filmed. Some of the later stage Kubrick movies were filmed. Very, very famous studio. And Ridley Scott, in his connection there doing Alien, he became, very much of a legend and became, really this upcoming British director who a lot of the British crews became really close to and really admired. And then you have Jim Cameron and Gale Anne Hurd coming over, and the British crew did not like them. They did not respect them. They did not like their, how upfront Jim Cameron is, how aggressive he is. And Cameron and Gale Anne Hurd did not like them back. I believe Paxton, Bill Paxton, who plays Hudson in this, he talks about how, like your average filmmaking day, you'd maybe shoot for 2 hours, then there'd be a tea break, then you shoot again for another hour, then there'd be lunch, then everyone would go to the pub, they'd come back, work a little bit more, and take another tea break. And Jim Cameron was going crazy about this. He just wanted to, work nonstop, maybe 14-hour days, work. And he was like losing his mind with the crew. He wanted to, beat up the tea lady. He didn't think that the crew was respecting him a lot. There's a scene where they're trying to get the face hugger to jump at the camera, and Cameron just doesn't think that the puppeteer is doing a good job, and he's kind of playing into him. Both Michael Biehn and Paxton do talk about Cameron. They say he's very confrontational. He can be offensive. He can tell you that what you're doing he thinks sucks, and both of them seem to be fine with it. They say, yeah, he's rough around the edges, but he gets results. He makes, very great movies that make a lot of money and, stand the test of time, because both of them did the interview, like 15, 16 years after the movie. So by then, people were still talking about the movie. So they think that, the means justify the ends with Cameron. James Horner, the composer on this, he talks about Gale Anne Hurd, how he came to England thinking he would have 6 weeks to compose his music, and he found out they were still shooting, so he couldn't compose all his music cues until the without, even seeing the finished film. He didn't know, when the beats of each scene were going to play out. So there was no way he could really even start film writing. And Galen Hurd was giving him a hard time. And, he said, I can't do anything until, I see like the film where each part is going to go. And then even once they did start showing it to him, they would re-edit it. Camron Hurd would re-edit it. And, he just kept getting into arguments with Galen Hurd. She's very complimentary towards him. She says he's a great composer and was very professional, and no one else could have done it. So, looking back, she has very good things to say about him. He doesn't really, he's not bad-mouthing her. He's just telling the situation as it was. Sigourney Weaver, who they do interview on set, and is talking about how she really did not read over the screenplay very carefully and didn't realize there would be not only so many guns, but at the end of the movie, Ripley would turn into a gun-toting heroine, an action hero. And she does not like guns. She said she advocates for, gun safety and maybe even, gun control, and really didn't want to be in a movie where, Ripley was going to be shooting people or shooting aliens and, using a flamethrower and a rocket launcher. She also said she thinks Jim Cameron is anti-gun as well, which is weird because all the movies we're going to discuss on this channel have rampant gun use. So a bit of a contradiction there. But, as we said in the last episode with his love of machines, but he's going to make a movie where the machines are the bad guys. Maybe he changes his mind. A few decades later, he'll make a movie where the aliens are the good guys. To significantly less good results as this movie. But I don't think that had to do with the changing of the protagonist. So, Aliens. This is a massive step up from the Terminator for Jim Cameron. I don't think that goes without saying. The world building is really extraordinary. He's using a very simple, it's a simple rescue mission like a lot of action movies like Predator or some other movies where it's just, we hear that the colony has been taken over, we're just going to go see, we're going to rescue as many people as possible. But he's able to tell such a great story. The characters in this are all so much fun to hang out with. Obviously, Ellen Ripley. You have Hicks and Hudson, Paxton and Michael Biehn. You have Jeanette Goldstein as Vasquez, who's a tremendous character. I don't know why she wasn't in like Hong Kong action movies. Lance Hendrickson as Bishop, the android, and Paul Reiser as what was his name in this? We'll get back to that. But, I had been watching Mad About You, and seeing him kind of play the sleazy bad guy was kind of fun. I wish he wasn't as villainous towards the end. You can still have him be about corporate greed and all that, but he kind of does turn into a is it Blake? Brooke? Something like it. It starts with the B, I'm sorry. Doesn't really matter. But, yeah, he does turn into the villain who wants to, of course, bring the aliens to Earth so they can use them to make weapons and everything. One big kind of issue I did find with the movie is the planet that they're terraforming on, the planet where the alien spaceship crashed, we're told is just a solid rock where you can't grow crops, there's no natural water. Why are these people trying to live there? Why would you want to terraform this planet? You can't grow any crops, there's no natural water. It seems like a horrible place to live. I don't know why these people are moving there in the first place. Maybe the rent's really, really dirt cheap, but I'm not saying that, it's terrible what happened to them, but that you really chose a terrible living conditions, folks. If there's no land and no water, don't live there. Just in general, it's really harsh, and they go there on purpose. So that was a little weird. But again, in addition to all the great characters, I think the beats make sense. The characters do things that make sense. They're always in a position where they're in fear, but are trying to get out of it. I actually remember this movie being a lot more a pure action movie, but there actually is a lot of suspense. The fighting with the aliens doesn't happen for quite a while. And you're building the suspense. You don't know when the first alien is going to come out. It's really dark, really just a great look. Actually, Cameron fired the first cinematographer because he told Cameron and Hurd that he couldn't make the schedule, so they unfortunately had to fire him right away. That was another one of the great things they talk about in the special features. Also in the special features, they talk about how they took so long to find the young girl who played Newt, because they were getting young actresses who worked in commercials, so they were smiling after every line. But I really don't think the actress they got was all that good. The scene where after the rescue plane crashes, her reaction is just, oh well, it's too bad. It's not your fault, Ripley. I guess we're going to be stuck here. I don't know. I think it could have done a little bit better finding that kid. Yeah, so again, this is I think it's a massive step up for Camron. He's still doing great character work, maybe even better than he did in Terminator. Definitely better than he did in Terminator, with a great set of actors who all play their characters really well. Another thing I want to bring up is I always thought that Vasquez and Hudson died together, but instead it's Vasquez and the guy who played the lieutenant, who's barely in the movie, and she has a line like, "Oh, I always hated you," and it's like you barely know him. I think that it would have been better if Vasquez and Hudson had died together, because they were, like butting heads the whole movie, and they come together at the end. I think would have again been a much better ending. But again, I think Sigourney Weaver really does deserve her Academy Award nomination for Best Actress. And even though they didn't get it, and I think Jeanette Goldstein and Vivian Paxton both gave great performances, well, as did everyone, really. And yeah, that'll wrap us up for Aliens. It's definitely the best Camron movie so far. It's going to be tough because we've got a really good one coming up next. I don't know how long Aliens is going to hold on to the top Camron seat, but it is for now. At least I think it definitely for special features, it's the best one we've covered so far in the series. So let me know, what do you think about Aliens? We're going to get to Ridley Scott Alien one of these days, and then we can discuss which one we like from there. But yeah, Aliens, is that as good as Terminator? Is it better than Terminator? You guys let me know. Is Sigourney Weaver your favorite sci-fi action heroine? You also let me know that. So until next time, be kind and rewind to each other, and it's not a true home without home video. Good night.